everybody doing? Another day in the market. Highs, you're definitely in an uptrend, so it's literally good. Literally, I don't know why I say literally so much. You're literally fine on, that's so funny, I need to somebody clip that. Welcome. We are back. Another day in the market. Actually, it's the weekend, so I can't say that. But tomorrow will be another day in the market, and we're getting ready for this week in the market. Hope everybody's doing well. And yeah, what's up to everybody in the chat? I'm excited for the stream. My Wi-Fi was out for like 4 hours, so I wasn't even sure if I could go live, but I came back right on time. I made a joke in the Discord that Florida Nick might have sent a tip because, like, if you remember, like the last 4 or 5 times my Wi-Fi was being weird on stream, Florida Nick sent a tip and then it just like fixed. It's actually crazy. But Florida Nick's in the chat right now. JG, Medi, Big Nate, Homeless Zillionaire, Mr. Freeman or Miss Freeman, HUEY, I'm not sure. KTF, Spiderwebs, KLF, Matt G with the noodles emoji in the chat. We're back. Just a Sunday stream. I mean, a lot of the times Sunday streams are kind of where a lot of gifts are given, if that makes sense. We found a lot of cool things for the going into the week, you know, time and time again on the Sunday streams is sometimes when we find like some interesting things. I think the first time we looked at SPRT when it was like at 7 might have been on a Sunday stream. We looked at SDC on a Sunday stream, I'm pretty sure, and that went crazy last week. So it's yet again another Sunday stream. Silver Shrimp in the chat, Rithwick, the end, Dean, how you doing? So yeah, here's the deal. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. Then we're going to talk about my thoughts on the market right now. Stock futures, they're red, but not that red. Then we're going to be talking about some other stocks like CLOV, Fisker, SDC, and we'll probably have time to do ticker requests after all that is said and done. So sit back, relax. Let's get ready for the week in the market. Hopefully no Wi-Fi issues. And yeah, I think we're in for a fun stream. So let's start off with Bitcoin. Let's see what's going on. Not too much of a difference. I brought this up, I think, on the last stream where it's not perfect, but the argument could be made. A little bit of a potential head and shoulders here for Bitcoin. Hopefully not, but you never know. We'll see. I mean, that head, I prefer if like the head was like a little bit here, but maybe that's just OCD. I don't know. So, I mean, that's one thing for Bitcoin, but it still is above 46K. It's just kind of chilling out for right now on the 4 hour. It's not really doing much either. I don't really think there's a clear read on Bitcoin for right now until there's more data. Litecoin, it's actually been selling off a little bit over the weekend. Not good, but it's still above 165. So hopefully you can just continue to hold above that. In terms of stocks, let me give everybody my analysis going into this week. let's see what the weekly candle last week was like. If you all remember, not last Friday, but the Friday before last Friday, I brought up this bearish engulfing candle that we had on the weekly. So going into last week, we already had a bearish engulfing candle on the weekly. And then last week, you saw the lows of the month, the lows of the week. And that was your follow through after the bearish engulfing candle. So remember, the last time we had this bearish engulfing candle on the NASDAQ on the weekly, we had a 10% correction. Actually, it was more than that. If you go from like, well, let's start from like where that week closed until the bottom. Yeah, it was about an 11% correction back in the beginning of March. So, I mean, we've only had just last week like a 0.5% correction, which technically is nothing compared to what we saw in the beginning of March. But you do somewhat also have, I think, I mean, almost this island, you kind of may group them together. You can definitely see the higher we're going, the less positive momentum we're getting on the MACD. So like longer time frames, not the best right now for the NASDAQ. S&P looks a little bit different, but still pretty similar on the weekly time frame. Let's go over to the daily. That hidden bullish divergence we were potentially talking about, not currently developing because of the red day we had on Friday. Yeah, Friday was quadruple witching. We saw a little bit of volatility. If you remember on Thursday night's stream, which was the final stream of last week, I shared some lotto ideas. Two of them were puts, SPY puts and QQQ puts. Both of them did pretty well on Friday if anybody played them. And then there was also ROKU calls. Those did trigger. It made a very, very small move after the calls triggered and then went back down with the market. So I don't really want to consider that one a win, but SPY puts and QQQ puts did pay on Friday. We did break under that 3-day low, like I was talking about on Thursday night stream, to watch out for that. So now this potential inverse head and shoulders is no longer a potential. It's kind of been validated at this point. I think it's too perfect of a double top to call that an alternate bat. Actually, that's way too deep on the B point, so never mind as well. But yeah, I mean, going into this week, it's not super clear, unfortunately. I think the largest support for the S&P 500 is 40, or the largest near support for the S&P 500 is 4370. In terms of resistance, 4485 or 4486 is kind of your resistance. You topped out there for last Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday pretty much. So those are really your levels going into this week. I mean, if you remember last week, we talked about that 44 level. It did somewhat act as support for a couple days. Just going back over to the NASDAQ to finish off the large caps. I don't know. I mean, if we look at the QQQ instead of the NASDAQ, you can see that you pretty much have nearly a confirmed partial rise, which means in this bearish pattern, the ascending broadening wedge, you failed to go all the way back up to the top of the wedge before hitting the bottom of the wedge, which is a partial rise, which gives you a roughly a 70% probability of breaking to the downside if we do touch this demand line. I don't even know if this is the best way to chart it. Also, it's not the cleanest pattern because you did spend a lot of time just kind of up against the top rail of this wedge. Only really tested that bottom rail once, so I don't really know. But large cap tech looking a little bit iffy, to be honest, right now. I'm not too sure. Let's go over to the small cap world. IWM bounced off of that white demand line we've been talking about for a while, which is good. But yeah, I mean, it was flat on Friday while the S&P and the NASDAQ were down 1% roughly, which is kind of a decent amount of divergence. Just really not too much of any signals here. Let's see, probably hit like a 50% retrace. Yeah, got down to the golden zone bounce. I mean, this area where the IWM bounced last week makes so much sense. It was in the golden zone, which is between the 50% and the 618 retrace. It was at the white demand line that we already showed you, and then also this orange horizontal line. It just made a lot of sense to me to see it bounce there. So hopefully it can just stay above those levels for all of you small cap traders. Is anybody here? I don't know what's going on with tonight's stream. I'm super excited. Chat's like dead right now. We only got 25. I don't know what's going on right now, but we'll just keep running with it. ARK ETF definitely outperforming. That's very interesting. Really, ever since the start of July, the ARK ETF has been underperforming really the large caps and even the small caps. Kind of those mid cap growth stocks have just kind of been stuck for a little bit. But last week we saw a very, very strong week for the ARK ETF. If you're a premium member, we played calls on them. They doubled last week, so that was good. Like we played, where did we enter the calls? I think we entered like right around over here. So I think I shared call ideas with premium members like right around 117-ish. And it went all the way up to 121 by the end of the week. So I went up like 3 or 4% and the calls doubled. And also look at that volume, very nice rise on volume, and it even closed the week pretty much at session, literally at session highs actually. So pretty good week for the ARK last week. I mean, look at that. This is just like a mega hammer candle on the weekly for the ARK ETF. I mean, it's not the best context. Typically you want to see that at the bottom of a downtrend, kind of like you did over here on the weekly. But still pretty textbook hammer. I mean, somewhat got inclining volume in terms of a bounce last week. So the ARK looking very interesting. Hopefully it can see some sort of continuation. Going into this week, even broke back above the 50-day moving average. So we'll see. I'm just kind of looking at the ARK as a range between 113 and 126 for right now. So that's really my main thoughts on that. Anything else that I missed? The US 10-year yield just kind of showing resistance at the 200-day moving average. Volatility index is back above 20 going into the week, so keep that in mind. And the dollar also going higher, so not the best. If you look at the dollar and the VIX, not the best signals there. Typically for equities, you'd rather those be going down. You know, not all the time, but from what I've noticed, definitely, obviously when you see the VIX, that's directly correlated to the S&P. I think options are, so we'll see. See what's up with China. There's still potential bat here for the Hang Seng Index, which is interesting. Hasn't really hit the 886 though yet, but if it does, that'd also be at an ice line. So I just have this chart. I've been watching it for a while. I mean, obviously, Chinese stocks have not been doing the best lately. Oh, football's on. Who's playing? I bet the Bucks are playing. I think the Bucks probably finished. I think they played at 4. Did they win? Oh my gosh, it was a blowout. And yeah. So the Chiefs and the Ravens, not the Raisins. Ravens are playing right now. And also Kansas City. All right. So I guess it's just how it's going to be for tonight. I mean, I'm fine with whatever. It's just weird, you know? I don't know if there's something wrong with notifications or what the deal is. Maybe it's just a Sunday, but it's been a while since we've had a under 30 concurrent. I can't even talk. Maybe that's why, but it's been a while since we've had under 30 concurrent viewers on the stream. We've been averaging like 70, 80 in the past 2 months or a month and a half, but it's all good. Let's see what else is in the chat. We're probably going to talk about, probably going to CLOV next, maybe. Yeah, we'll talk about CLOV next. Let me read the chat first though. One second. Oh, and Billions is on tonight. I'm happy about that. All right, let's see what's up in the chat. Silver Shrimp says bag holding 300 shares at CLOV at 14. I wish you luck. We just went over the S&P, Silver Shrimp, so hopefully that answers your question. I'm not sure if I know how to pronounce that. Blaze? I'm sorry, Blaze Charles says cool kid. Thanks. Steven says, why are ARK and IWM going up when all indices are going down? Well, the IWM is kind of an ETF of the Russell 2000. But I mean, look, the S&P and the NASDAQ are mainly for large caps. So I think you're seeing small caps and mid caps outperforming large caps last week, which was pretty fun for day trades. I'm going to be honest. It was a great time trading last week. Not the best for the swings, but I mean, actually, the new swings have done pretty well. CLOV was obviously, you know, that's in profit right now, and then there's 3 premium ones I shared last week that are in profit. It's just kind of the older swings on the sheet are just kind of being weird, but yeah, you are starting to see a little bit of an outperformance for small caps and mid caps, which I love to see personally. And that's an interesting thing, because if we do see, I'm not calling a bear market, I'm just saying if we were to see a bear market, typically that would just be large cap stocks bringing down the indices. But you could obviously see small caps and mid caps kind of maybe stay bullish for a little bit longer until they also get dragged down. You never know. Just interesting to see how those things develop. Yeah, the stuff with China and real estate has been very interesting. I'm not too caught up in everything, so I don't really want to speak on it until I learn more about what's going on there. But that's another big point. Also, new inflation talk going on. Michael Burry has been tweeting over the weekend. So we'll see how that goes. KTF says money could be rotating from large cap to small mid caps. That's true as well. I mean, you got to look at valuations as well. A lot of these small caps and mid caps, they still might be overvalued on paper, but they might not have the same type of ratios that some large caps now have after the runs they've seen all year, because you already have seen many large caps run from January, and we're sitting at all-time highs in August. However, you saw a lot of small caps and mid caps top out in January, especially SPACs and EVs, and they have yet to get back up to those January prices, and maybe even some of them from February. So yeah, I mean, that's a really good point as well. You got to keep all those things in mind. And that's also crazy, Alfredo. We got 30 people watching and 30 likes. So that's cool to see as well. Thank you for all of you who are watching, supporting the stream. Thank you very much. Alfredo says watching BBIG and SEC tomorrow. We're going to talk about SEC. Probably we're going to do Clover, then we're going to do Fisker, then we'll talk about SDC. I think that's going to be the run. I don't even know what to say. The flow? I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how this week goes. Is this the final? I think we have like 1.5 weeks left for the market this month. Oh no, we got like all of next week left. I mean, the 1st of October is next Friday, so we got about 2 weeks left in the month. And I think, on Friday, I think we hit monthly lows, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so we're still around the lows of the month for the overall market. So we'll see if we can get some sort of a rally going into the end of the month. Historically, September is not the best month. And I also think, don't quote me on this, please do your own research, but I just saw somebody tweeted out that I think next week is historically like the worst week of the year on average in like the last decade or something along those lines. I probably messed up on a part of that, but something like that. I mean, I think seasonality is important. It's just, again, probability. It's obviously not the same thing as technicals, but just, sometimes you can get relations to maybe schools reopening that could affect some, not really many stocks, but there's not too many school stocks that, heavily affect the market. But you get what I'm saying, just kind of different seasons and how people trade, maybe going into the end of the year trying to manage taxes and whatnot. So we'll see. Yeah, let's talk about CLOV now. Tomorrow we're going to be doing TIG requests later on. I only have to really talk about Clover, Fisker, SDC, and then NEO and BLNK, and then we'll probably get into all the other stuff. But let's do the CLOV. Let's do the CLOV talk right now, okay? First thing, clearest thing, my favorite thing right now, actually my second favorite thing on the CLOV chart right now, is the daily candle from Friday. I'm not going to do the math. I think typically you want the body of the candle to be only a third of the actual spread, if that makes sense. So it kind of looks like it's around that, I guess, but typically you want like the wick, the lower wick, to be like 2/3 of the candle's height, and then the body to only be 1/3 or less for a hammer. So the body is a little bit large for a hammer, but the psychology of it is still relatively the same thing, where you had a kind of a open to near, not near, but somewhat near the high of the day in general. Then you have a large sell-off in the day, but then you rally back all the way to close around session highs, right? So still the same type of psychology and very close to pretty much a hammer candle on the daily for CLOV. Now, I think there might have been a few hammers in here. I mean, I really can't see any clear ones, but if we take a look at this, right? If we just take a look over here, you had a very similar candle at your lows on May 19th before a non-stop rally to 28, right? Literally at the bottom of a downtrend. Now, I think I brought this up on stream, and I know a lot of other people have been kind of tweeting about it. But you also can see that, if you look back in time on Clover, you had that run down in February, March, and here's what you kind of did before you went to all-time highs. You kind of had a very large double bottom, right? You had a large double bottom, and then you ran all the way back to all-time highs. Let's take a look at what happened here. You came down to around the same type of prices, and what could potentially, again, this is talking way in advance. You haven't even started rounding back up yet, and it's also not really like the same type of thing, but it's pretty interesting to see how you have some sort of similarities. I mean, even potentially a triple. Like, consider this one bottom, the second bottom, and then the third bottom of this whole entire range. And then if we go over here, consider this the first bottom, this the second bottom, and this potentially the third bottom. So you're definitely getting some similarities there as well. Then if we go over to the 4 hour, this is my favorite thing on the chart. The hammer's my second right now, but my favorite, it's that 4 hour. 4 hour divergence is my favorite indicator on the swings. I mean, I love daily divergence, and typically the higher the time frame, the better, but I like 4 hour because that's a little bit shorter, so it can play out a little bit quicker than daily divergence. So you have pretty clear looking hidden bullish divergence developing on the 4 hour for Clover, which I like to see. Even on Friday morning, we had a 4 hour bullish pin bar. So really good price action on Friday. You know, instead of like all these other days where it just kind of sold off in the morning, they just kind of bled on low volume into the close. On Friday, you did sell off again in the morning. You had that morning flush, but it actually showed strength going into the afternoon, which was really interesting to see. And all of that took place right around $8, the historical support and the creek that we've been talking about. I'm not too focused on Wyckoff anymore, just because, I mean, it still could be argued that the Wyckoff already played out, because again, from the spring of the Wyckoff where we started talking about it to the top of where CLOV went at 11, it went up 50%. So it could be argued it already played out. But still, I mean, if you want to keep it going, this could be just a backup of the creek in Wyckoff. So you never know. It's just kind of like the ultimate fake out for you know, the composite operator to really shake out retail traders and weak hands. You know, like after all the people think that it's finally going to the moon and breaking out, the composite operator just drags it down one more time to really test how strong people are. And again, I'm not saying that's literally what's happening. I'm just using an analogy there from Wyckoff, the composite operator type of analogy. Just because there might be newer people in here that might think I'm saying that this is literally what's happening. I don't know what's literally happening. I'm just bringing up an analogy that I've talked about previously on stream. So that's your 4 hour and your daily. On the 1 hour, kind of looks the same as the 4 hour. And then if we take a look at this, it's on my 30 minute. Oh yeah, so on the 15 minute, you broke out of a falling wedge, which I'll just bring that up. But then on the 30 minute, there we go. You didn't get down to the 886, but you did get down to like the 84% retrace, which is, in my opinion, close enough. Like if this were to be the bottom, and again, I don't know yet, we'll see what happens this week, but if this were to be the bottom, I think an 84% retrace could be good enough for a bullish bat. But again, it's on the 30 minutes, so regardless, we'll see. But you know, whether or not this is the bottom, you still could have 785, right? So if you do sell off one more time, or I mean, again, it could keep selling off. I don't know the future, but if it did drop down to 785, then you hit the PCZ of a bullish bat, and you'd be at another support if you see this bottom over here and this bottom over here. So you got multiple levels of support right under you. Very, very nice volume in that final 30 minutes on Friday as well. Yeah, I mean, CLOV really in general, I mean, regardless of the swing idea, it has yet to see any sort of a major bounce back up, or even a decent bounce back up since 11. I mean, really even more so since the $7 price target. It's just been lower lows and lower highs. There really hasn't been any sort of a retrace to the upside. I don't even think you've hit a 23%. You're not even close to 23% retrace yet. So there has yet to be any sort of a rally. So maybe we'll see this week if you can bounce back. You've just been selling off for pretty much really ever since the day it hit 11 on Tuesday. It's just been selling off. Not last Tuesday, but the one before. So we'll see. I mean, the weekly MACD is looking pretty interesting as well. You know, it's not bullish divergence, it's just bullish convergence. You made higher lows on price and higher lows on the MACD and the RSI, but it is losing negative momentum. This is a rough trend line. You know, there's multiple ways you could chart this trend line, but that's just kind of how I've charted for right now. So let's see if there's anything different in the options data from Friday. There we go. We got some more people hopping into the stream. If anybody missed the beginning of the stream, we just went over the market and my thoughts on everything for that. Still going to talk about FSR and SDC next. Let's take a look at this options data first. See if there's any noticeable differences. And also, we got like 50 people in here, but 40 likes. That's a very, very good ratio. Thank you for everybody liking the stream. Really appreciate that. Not a really big day. Only about 1/5 of a million in premiums on Friday. Good call to put ratio. The algo score has been pretty good. I mean, from TradeEthics. Yeah, not a lot of options activity on Friday for CLOV. Look at that though. Remember, does anybody remember this? The IV rank. You can't really see it, so let me just go over here. If anybody remembers, like a couple, maybe like a month and a half ago or something, I think it was around like over here. where I was talking about this IV rank on CLOV and how historically every time it got low, you saw it bounce up. Well, it's as low as possible right now, pretty much. I mean, look at the last time it was here. It was around August 18th. Let's see what happened then. Oh my gosh, that was the lowest part of the downtrend at the spring. Okay, let's see what happened before that. Like May 25th, that was pretty much your lowest before the move to all-time high. All right, let's go a little bit further back. March, pretty much towards the end of March. Right over here, you had a bottom over there as well before it moved to 11. So the last 3 or 4 times the historical IV rank was at this level on CLOV, you did in fact bottom out, at least locally. So this is something new. It was not like that in the beginning of last week. I think maybe between Thursday and Friday. And I'm sorry the chat's kind of blocking it, but if I move it down, you can kind of see it like right there. So that's interesting to see. In terms of the options chain, $10 strikes are back up to 90,000 in terms of open interest. They were at 100,000 at one point. Then they went down to 80,000. Now they're kind of back to 90. I think the $9 strikes might have gone up as well. The 15s were already, actually those have gone up by like 5,000. It's not insanely high, but yeah, not too much of a change other than that. In terms of the options flow on Friday, nothing too crazy. Pretty, not 50-50, somewhat bullish. I mean, 73% calls to puts and most of those were buys, but you did have a lot of puts over here around, kind of around noon. I don't know, nothing too crazy there. But that was interesting though. That was interesting to see that historical IV rank. We'll see if it plays out yet again. But like literally, the last times that the historical IV rank was there on Trading Ticks was right over here, and right over here. So I don't know. That's just data. You make what you want out of that. But it's again pretty low. Interesting. So yeah, that's pretty much the CLOV analysis going into this week. Let me see what's up in the chat though. We got some special things to talk about next. Chef Daddy Trader says champion vibe their loss. Yeah, it is. Because everybody's about to see a cool clip next. Thank you for subscription. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Freeman, thank you. What else? Yeah, keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 50 likes right now. If you're not subscribed, help us get to 3,500 subs. I'd love to get there by the end of the month. Futures, yeah. Oh, futures have dropped like quite a bit since I started streaming. They're pretty much at lows. I don't know what. I don't know if there was news or it's just regular. You know, futures doing futures. Hopefully, it can bounce here, back off this 4,400 level on the S&P. But yeah, futures have been dropping during the duration of the stream. For whatever reason, Russell futures are kind of down 0.5% right now. So not too sure what's up there. That is like 10 minutes delayed though. Let's see if Bitcoin's dropping with them. Nope. What else? Neil says dark pool accumulation of CLOV 6 million shares last week right at market close all week. That could just be orders bundled up throughout the day. I mean, it could be a couple things. It could just be like legitimately, like you're correct, you know, there are just interesting large orders at the close. It could be, I think somebody told me about volume weighted average price orders, like people trading off the volume of the day. It could just be bundled orders, like maybe people interested at buying at the open or selling at the close. A lot of institutions do like to do that. So, I mean, it could be a few different things, but yeah. Levi says, I had to buy in the money calls when I saw the low IV. Hopefully it pays off. I wish you good luck. KTF says, yo, the IV ranks make October calls seem very attractive. I do have actually only October calls right now. I got out of my September calls. So yeah, cut some losses there. I haven't sold any of my October calls for CLOV though. JG says the Bollinger Bands for CLOV. We can take a look if there's anything different. They're starting to kind of separate. where you are kind of getting divergence there, where the price action has been very, very, you know, low volume, not much volatility, and the Bollinger Bands are widening, but we'll see. I don't see anything that really stands out like too much. I think the Bollinger Bands are really important, like over here. Remember the stream that I was talking about how CLOV was at the lower Bollinger Bands, and like the last few times it did that, it bottomed out. I think that's when the Bollinger Bands are really interesting. Now you already got like a nice move off of that stream, or since that stream. But yeah, shout out to whoever the premium member was who brought that up to me in the workshop. HSI down 2%. Did it just open? When does it open? How long has it been open? Yeah, I think, yeah, it just did open. So not a good week, or not a good start to the week right there. But hey, the HSI, China could be hitting the bat. Hitting the PCZ of this pretty textbook bullish bat. The 2618 from B to D and the 886 from X to D add an ice line. I'm not obviously really in any Chinese names right now just because of all the, and again, I'm not telling you to do the same thing. I'm just not in them because they're gapping up and gapping down like every other day. It's just too weird for me right now. I don't really know what's going on in that area. So I'm not really, I haven't traded Chinese stocks in probably over a month. But it will be interesting to see. I'm just watching from the sidelines here to see if it will bounce. I mean, look how insane this ice line is. And it's at the PCC of a bat. Maybe it gets oversold there. I mean, let me just set up an alert here. See if it bounces off of that later in the week. Yeah, not the best start to the week there. But makes sense with all the news that's kind of come out in the last few days. So yeah. And all right, what should we bring up next? Oh yeah, excuse to talk about premium right now. Today is the 6-month anniversary of premium, so I'm gonna do a 1-minute ad. I know I don't do these like that often, but if anybody wants to join, just last week, I shared 3 swing ideas with premium members. So far, all those are currently in profit. One of those was actually SDC, which hit the first target. We're going to talk about that after Fisker. I also shared 7 options ideas with premium members last week. 5 of them were winners, so 5 for 7 last week on options. We made 100% on ARK. We made 60% on Apple, 50% on Friday with SDC, just day trading it. It was a swing, but then we day traded it after it hit the first target. And then also last week alone, like within like the last 8 days, I've shared like 20 different takers in the watch list channel. So if that's something any of you are interested in, I know it's not for everybody, but additional swing ideas, options, ideas, day trades, and whenever I see something that interests me on a chart, I just throw it into the watch list channel. And yeah, I mean, I've been really active in that watch list channel lately. Shared some chip stocks there. I did mention a few names on stream. I was talking about Lucid and ROKU, some other tech stocks. And then I shared a couple more yesterday. I was doing a little bit of scanning over the weekend. The link for that's always the first link in the description. But it's been 6 months since I, took a large leap into the world of kind of, monetizing and everything. And that was probably the scariest thing I've ever done. And at first it definitely did come with a lot of, I'm not going to say backlash, but confusion. I think now 6 months later, I think things are a lot more clear. I did not stop putting out swings for everybody. I still put out free swings. I mean, there's one on Clover right now. And I still try and provide as much education as possible. I mean, it's whatever you want. Link's always there. If you're not interested, go check out my TradingView page. You can find that in the Discord for all my swings. Go join the Discord. That's still completely free. The free course is in the description as well if you want to watch that. I want to start promoting that more. I mean, I think that's one of the, not the best course, but I think it's a pretty solid course. A lot of work into that. So just want to mention that as well. And we got something to talk about right now. Okay. This is a stock that, I don't know. I think I just found out about this stock recently. I don't know if I've ever heard about it. It's called Fisker. Interesting. I don't know what they do. It's a pretty interesting chart though. I mean, there's that triple classic bullish divergence on the daily, bouncing off of an ice line at the PCC of a bullish Gartley. I mean, it's not like I have their whole merch collection. It's not like I do. I mean, maybe it's time to reveal it on stream for the first time. Let's see if I can do this. All right. Okay, all right. I mean, it's not like I'm a Fisker fanboy. All right, so let's see if I can get this in the frame. We got one hat, but in case you don't want that hat, I think we might got another hat. My camera's like out of focus right now, but we got the snapback too. Let's see. All right. Then, just in case you need a drink, we got the Fisker flask. I don't know. And then on top of all that, even wearing the sweatpants. So, I mean, maybe I do know a little bit about this company. Maybe I'm not just only talking about a bullish Gartley on the daily at an ice line with triple classic bullish divergence. Actually, somebody take a, wait, not yet. How do I like get my camera to focus? All right, somebody, let's see if I can do this. Somebody like post this in the Discord. Put in like the memes channel and just title it like Fisker fanboy. Hold up. Like that. Wait. All right, take the screenshot right now. All right, we got it done. Let me go take this hoodie off because it's like really hot right now. Look at the quality though. It's got Fisker on the back. This is not a paid ad, by the way. I just love Fisker, and I wanted to kind of show all this on stream. I was just waiting until like I really wanted to talk about Fisker, and we got a lot to talk about on Fisker tonight, so I just decided to kind of throw everything on for a little bit. All right. And we're back. But yeah, I want to kind of use that just like full camera screen a little bit more. It's a technical analysis stream, so there's not really much use for it, but I don't know. I want to start doing like, sorry, I just hit the mic if that was loud, but like more segments maybe. See what's up in the chat before we talk about this beauty of a chart right now. Yeah, I mean, Clover, make some merch. I'll get the whole collection as well. I mean, that's kind of weird. I don't know if it's so weird, but like a health insurance AI medical company dropping merch. I don't know. Nerve says premium, not just for the alerts, also help me developing trading skills. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the chat the whole entire day. Premium members, you can back me up here. I'm in the chat all day explaining the day trades when we do day trades. I share a lot of Clover charts as well. You know what it's looking like intraday, just all that stuff. So. Thank you for the testimonial, Nerve. Maxime, no, Fisker's not paying me. I'm paying them though. I mean, that merch, probably one of the more expensive pieces of merch. I don't know what Tesla merch, how much that costs. I think they have merch. But yeah, Fisker, I don't know. Is what it is though. Had to get it. All right, so let's talk about this, okay? I mean, even before I got down to 12 weeks ago, what was I saying for the last, like, honestly, like a month? I want to see Fisker at 12. I want to see Fisker at 12 because that was the PCZ of the Gartley at an ice line. It got down to 12 last week. I actually had 12.15 charted like weeks ago, and you could go back to my streams and go fact check that. And it bounced right at 12.14 on Thursday. And I did miss, I honestly did miss like the entry I wanted. I was planning on putting out a swing. It just kind of bounced up. I think I was at school on Thursday when it was bouncing and I was in class. So I couldn't really, chart it like, when I wanted to. And then it just went up 7% more on Friday. So I was like, wow. So now I'm just kind of waiting to see if maybe it double bottoms or something. Maybe I do put out a swing tomorrow. Maybe I don't. It's obviously at the top of my watch list, but regardless, even if I don't, we were talking about this for a long time. It finally happened, and like literally, like look at this. Let's see if I can pull it up. Exactly what I wanted is starting to happen. Oh my gosh, somebody already tweeted it. Oh my gosh. Big Nate, I just look up FSR champion vibe and it's already there. Great. Let's see. Look at this. I put this out on about a week ago. Hopeful thinking a drop to 12 could allow for a triple classic bullish divergence at historical support and a bullish Gartley harmonic pattern. And look, I even drew out what I wanted the MACD to look like, what I wanted the price to look like. And just a few days later, the MACD is currently doing what I wanted it to do. It's waning back towards green. Triple classic bullish divergence developing. And it bounced right at the PCZ and the ice line. I mean, the FSR chart has only looked like this a few times before. I'll be honest. First time it looked like this was back over here. 100% swing trade I put out for free. The second time, the Wyckoff range. 30 or 40% swing trade I put out for free. The third time, the bullish butterfly with classic bullish divergence, which was right over here in May. The fourth swing, I think that was like around a 60% gain I put out for free. 4 for 4 on those major trade ideas. There have been a couple failed ones, like smaller trades. I think we had a failed trade in this area. I think it was around that 1455, but it just kind of blew right through it. But it looks like just as strong as it looked over here when I put out the swing, when I looked over here when I put out the swing, and probably even stronger than that one. I mean, I was very new to technicals in this time period. That was last October. Not new to technicals, but just not where I am right now. I started learning about technicals probably like 8 to 9 months before. So like probably in the beginning of 2020 or end of 2019. Like I think December 2019 is when I found Mitch Ray's stream, and that's when I started learning. But wow, FSR, I mean, probably my favorite chart right now on the daily. Obviously my favorite company fundamentally. It just gets me so excited. Hopefully it does good things like we saw before, but again, it's not certainty. It could just keep dropping lower. You never know. It's just there's certain probabilities and types of technical setups, and this is a pretty nice one for right now. We'll see though. There's no certainty, but very nice to stay on Friday up 7%. I even had a plan to trade some lottos on it and I missed it. I just really missed FSR last week, and I never want to FOMO. I want it to be perfect when I enter, but in terms of like entering for a swing and whatnot, so we'll see. But yeah, beautiful. High cloak risk scrubs, says KTF. Do you have the FSR mask? All right, I don't have the FSR mask, and I don't have the FSR shirt. Those are the final two pieces before I get the Infinity Gauntlet. Spiderweb says, thanks to Champ, I was able to grab some right around that 12.15 area. So, I mean, yeah, for anybody who did take a trade off of 12.15, you're currently up 11%. Congrats, for sure. Good job. DF says, did you learn what you know through Mitch Ray's Patreon? I mean, I was, so probably December 2019 to like, probably like from like December 2019 to like October-ish of 2020, I was only watching Mitch Ray's stream. I wasn't in the Patreon. I was just watching his stream. It was really entertaining to me, and that's how I just learned a lot of things, just through watching him chart, like how some of you might be doing right now watching me chart. Just kind of picking things up over time while being entertained. And then I think towards either the end of 2020 or the beginning of this year, I think it was towards the end of 2020, I joined his Patreon, and I've been in the Patreon the whole entire year. So yeah, just learned a lot through his stream. The Patreon's great as well. Mitch Ray, Dean Lee, is another YouTuber that's, you know, probably the largest inspiration for me streaming is because I watched his stream. So he's always in the description if you ever want to check out his channel. So yeah, AF, I'm gonna have to put you on timeout. You can't be doing that in my chat, so I'll put you on timeout. If you do it again, I'm gonna have to not let you chat anymore. Just don't do that. What else is in the chat? I think it's pretty much the chat right there. So yeah, FSR, we'll see what happens. And then another one I want to talk about, Smile Direct Club. It already hit the first target, so I can kind of pull these up now. this is what I do for the premium trades. I just kind of, you know, block those, target, you know, entry stops, targets. Obviously not financial advice, just, you know, supports, resistances, and how to, you know, line up risk management based solely on technicals. But yeah, SDC was shared with premium members, 566. I don't think this trade was ever, maybe it was down like 1%, but since I alerted it, it's pretty much been in profit the whole time. So I alerted it right when it was like 566. I think it went a little bit lower at first, like 1%, and then it's just been in profit the whole time. And then on Friday, it gapped up and hit the first target, almost actually hit the second target. It was only 1.5% away from hitting the second target for a 33% gain in like 3 days. But yeah, I alerted this on like Monday or Tuesday for premium members at 566, and on Friday hit the first target, almost the second one. But again, you know, I like to share things on, I don't obviously share all of this on the stream, but I've been talking about SDC on the stream for 2 weeks now, and we talked about, even last week, right over here, I said it looks like it's back testing the breakout of the wedge. I talked about this on stream last week for all of you. All you have to do is watch the stream, and it bounced off the back test. We talked about that as well, I believe, on Thursday, and I think it was already up after hours. And then Friday, boom. I mean, look at the volume. That's highest volume in a day ever for SDC on Friday, according to TradingView. So beautiful. Broke out of the wedge, and high short interest, and obviously a lot of sentiment, or social media sentiment and chatter on Reddit and Twitter, and probably stock twits as well. I mean, who knows? But in terms of, you know, SDC right now, I mean, there is a gap fill because it gapped up on Friday. There's a gap fill at around $6. There's a resistance at 7. It did close under that. I think it was up a few percent after hours, if I'm not mistaken, though. Then there's another resistance at 764, and then if it gets above 764, I mean, historically, it's kind of like straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, between 764 and $9. So if it can break that and it can really hold it, $9, you know, there's a potential. And then you got 200-day moving average like 950-ish, and then, you know, even higher, 11, 12, 13. There's some resistance in that whole entire range, but great stuff on Friday and last week in general for SDC. I think it was up around like 20% at one point on Friday. So very, very nice move. I'm sure if I go to Tradie Ticks, the options look insane right now. But yeah, whether you're a premium member or not, like we were talking about on the stream, this is again, we talked about it with GameStop, AMC, SPRT, BBIG, even Clover back in May. Like, it's just time and time again, the technicals start setting up, and then a couple weeks later, wow, so surprising, it's all over Wall Street bets. And again, I didn't call for GameStop to go to 400 or AMC to go to 270, but still, we were talking about a lot of these types of names weeks before the moves happened, and then boom. It's just, I'm not saying I called anything or whatever, I just think it's a really cool, not even coincidence, but just situation that we've seen many times this year, where technicals start setting up, you know, on a name that might have a high short interest or a loaded options chain, and then 2-3 weeks later, it's #1 trending on Wall Street bets. It's just pretty interesting to me how many times this happened this year, and here we go again. So, I mean, yeah, almost pretty much all calls on Friday. The volume and open interest on calls went up quite a bit. Put open interest actually went down on Friday, and the options chain, there's about 90,000 open interest at 6, which is actually pretty much what CLOV has at 10. I honestly thought the options chain would be more loaded than this, though, with all the, you know, chatter, but it's really only $6. That's probably the largest strike. You know, this probably doesn't have a gamma squeeze potential. You would need like high open interest on a bunch of different strikes, which you really don't have. But that 6 one is like one that stands out the most, and I think for most people, they're looking at it as just like a high short interest. I think this has over 30%, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just gonna look on Finviz. Finviz says 33% roughly. So yeah, we'll see. In terms of the ongoing trades, I mean, we already talked about Clover, which currently that one is up 2%. Then we also got Neo, which is down 6%, unfortunately. I just want to see it bounce before getting stopped and hopefully get back above 40. There is a gap fill to $40.50. It could be still just maybe back testing, but definitely needs to see some more life. Hopefully, I mean, you could catch up to Fisker and Lucid, because Fisker and Lucid crushed it last week. And then BLNK, it's been stop punted like 3 days in a row, but it still has yet to close under the stop or at the stop. There is actually classic bullish divergence on the daily developing, so we'll see. But just same scenario. I want to see it get back above 32 before stopping out. We'll see though. Yeah, you know, these ones were from like 2 weeks ago or maybe 3. I don't remember. But I mean, last week, CLOV, you know, four out of all the 4 swing trades I shared last week are in profit. CLOV was the one I shared for free for everybody. That's up 2%. And then the premium trades, well, STC I just showed you, that was a 22% gain in 3 days. And then there's a couple others. One of them I think is up like 7%, the others up like 3%. But last week was good apart from like the previous ongoing swings. That's just how I'm looking at it. And yeah, I mean, hopefully this week we'll see, you know, some luck. Futures though are not really cooperating overnight. Russell futures are even lower now. Same for actually S&P futures are around the same level, but they did break under that low. And then NASDAQ futures, kind of the same thing. So futures are red. You know, they're not really considered flat at this point. They are red right now. Hopefully they can see a bounce by the morning, but we'll see. Let's see what else is in the chat. DF, yeah, that's what FinViz is reporting the SDC short interest to be. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, Florida Nick, it's always a question of how long the hype lasts, especially when things get really hot on social media. You know, it's definitely good at first a lot of the time, and then a lot of the times they could turn into a rough situation. There could be a lot of back holders, which we saw with GameStop and AMC and Clover and, you know, how many others. You know, the crazy moves up, but also the crazy moves back down. But that's just supply and demand, you know. You got to mix supply and demand with valuations and earnings and the overall market, and you see stocks move up and you see stocks move down. It's natural. Yeah, hopefully you're enjoying the stream. Let's get to 65 likes right now. Hold up. How many subs are we at? Come on, load. Oh no, it's not loading. We're at 3441. All right, let's get a 3500. If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Just hit the red subscribe button. Florida Nick says, thinking ARK might keep going. I hope so. I mean, those ARK calls and premium are already up 100%. So, I mean, that's already a win. But yeah, I mean, this ARK's really strong lately. Hopefully it can continue this week. But we'll see. I mean, really is starting to heavily outperform. So we'll see how long it can do that. Steven says, didn't sell CLOV at 11. You think it will go up to back to at least 9? I don't know the future. If you're going to ask for my personal opinion, again, this is not financial advice. This is just literally what's in my head. But you interpret whatever you want, how you want. Nothing I ever say is financial advice. I personally do believe that CLOV will, yes, see 9 again. I do. I think CLOV will see higher prices than 9 again. I don't know when, but I do. Yeah. So, but we'll see. Nothing's certainty. I mean, for me, that's like, I think it's gonna happen, but we'll see the future. That's not how I think about things. You know, I don't try to think about things as certainty. I like to think about everything in trading in the market as just a probability. So yeah, we can just take a request for the rest of the stream. Probably not gonna have time for a bunch. Probably stream for like another 10-15 minutes. So we'll see how many we can kind of run through in that time span. So don't request anything that was up over 30% on Friday. Don't request anything that IPO'd in the last month. And remember, nothing I say is financial advice. If you want me to take a look at a chart, drop it in the chat. And remember, just because I say I don't see any variables or I don't know, that doesn't mean I'm bearish. It just means I literally don't know. You know, there's not always going to be a signal on a chart. I'm already seeing that Fisker image on Twitter. Anybody put in the Discord? Alright, it's in the Discord. Thank you, Jasifu. Or no, you said GCFu. Sorry, I mispronounced that. It's in the social channel as well. I don't like those screenshots though. I'm gonna make a better screenshot. All right, let's look at these stickers. Load. JOBY. All right, so we'll get started with these. JOBY. Not a lot of data here. I mean, that's just kind of all I really see. You know, $8-ish area is kind of your support. Mid 13 is kind of your resistance. You got a gap fill at 1131. You got the 200-day moving average at 1081. According to TradingView, you had, you know, your second highest day of volume ever on Friday. Did have a hammer on Wednesday, and then you had 2 green days after, which is good. Hopefully you can just hold above this whole entire area in general. LEDS. Hit the PCZ of a bullish bat and bounced. Potential reversal low, as Mitch Ray and Scott Carney would talk about, and then potential confirmation low. I mean, and then on top of that, maybe you could even call this like somewhat an inverse head and shoulders at the PCZ. I just want to see it hold above like the mid $6 area. 17 bucks. I mean, if it breaks out of this inverse head and shoulders and, you know, just gets going and the MACD and the RSI look good, I mean, there's not a lot of resistance between $12 and 17. I mean, you got a little bit of chop around 14.36 historically. So yeah, Roku, I talked about this at the end of last week. It was on my watch list, or still is on my watch list, but yeah, Mitch Ray was looking at this on his stream as well. And you know, I've always had Roku on my watch list because I trade options on it quite a bit. But yeah, you have classic bullish divergence on the daily and a falling wedge. I just want to see it, I mean, reclaim and hold above 324, which it did for Friday. It's a historical level from this year. Hopefully it can just continue to hold above 324. If it breaks out of this wedge, I mean, there could be room back up to 370-ish, which is around your 200-day moving average and where this candle topped out. APRE. Those are your levels. There's really not much I can do apart from that. And you're kind of in between them as well. So I can see it's going either way. ATER is trying to find support around 10 bucks. Like, look at this. Look where it's bounced off of 3 times last week. This 950-ish area. That was resistance back last fall. Look at that. 3 different times. Now it's your support. If it can hold that, that's good. Hopefully it can. I mean, if it can, then, you know, when it got above 12, it went straight to 19. There's not much resistance between 12 and 19 historically. I mean, look, straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. We'll see. So yeah, but again, it just had a major move. Plug might be breaking out of this downsloping channel, even potentially it's double bottoming off of 2368 with triple classic bullish divergence on the daily. Wow. And it's even confirmed. So plug, I mean, you have a double bottom breakout and divergence on the MACD and the RSI. If it can get above like 28, I mean, it could just revisit the top of the range at 35. You just want to see it hold above 2368. But I'm going to keep it on my watch list. Who mentioned that? KLF, good job. I already had it charted. I don't remember when I charted that though. Looks like recently though. Workhorse. We talked about this last week. It kind of blew past the first PCZ for a bat, but you know, failed bats can turn into alternate bats. I mean, still, this is around the 886, so I still couldn't just be considered a regular bat. The only question is, it's not really at like an ice line or anything. It's just kind of in the middle of nowhere right now. I guess it did break out of like a mini wedge though. If you look at that, like I just removed the bat for a second, it kind of broke out of a mini wedge on Friday. So we'll see. And technically, if you just include these little 2 MACD bars, this could be looked at as classic bullish divergence on the daily. So yeah, and I think you were talking about the short interest or something on this one. So we'll see. Isn't this a Chinese stock, if I'm not mistaken? I can't remember, but Pang in a downsloping channel. Falling wedge, kind of. Support right now is like 2880. You just want to see it hold above that. No. Maybe a shark though. It is pretty much a bullish shark, potentially bottoming, double bottoming at the PCC. It just needs to hold above that level I brought up. And then Space, congrats to SpaceX, different company, over the weekend with the landing. That was really cool to see. 20, oh my gosh, HSI literally hit the target already. Hold up, my playlist just ended. Let me restart it. Why does it goes into like other playlists after it ends? No. Wait, is this the same? Oh, it is. All right, just gotta skip. Okay, we're gonna go back to this in a second. Just let me look at Space first. 2287 was kind of where it bottomed out at the end of last year, and it bounced off that again last week. There's a gap filter around $31, but I don't really see much of a pattern. You did have actually classic bullish divergence over here, and look at that. So far, your bottom of your downtrend was a hammer. Look at that. So we'll see. But look at this. We talked about this 30 minutes ago, and HSI has already hit the 886. Like literally, it's right at the 886. So the Hang Seng Index is at the PCZ of a bullish bat on the daily currently, and this level 24,143-ish. It was your lows from like June of last year. No, it was your low from October of last year, June of last year. It was your high from September 2016. It was your high from November 2014, December 2013, February 2011. Crazy level that this is at right now. So for Chinese stocks, I think this is a very crucial area. It's, I mean, definitely a very rough day, and really the last, honestly, since like, I mean, really since February, but even more so since like June, it's just been horrible for Chinese stocks in general. But it's at a very interesting area. I mean, again, fundamentally, I really don't know if this is gonna. I mean, I don't know how much the technicals are gonna matter with everything fundamentally going on. So I want to make that clear as well. Just we'll see. Really interesting point. And look at that. So far, it has actually, it's found the low of the day so far. And look at that. It's having a potential hammer candle here off of that level. I don't know if they're looking at harmonics over in China, but we'll see. I mean, this is something I've had charted for like months now, but still, everything fundamentally is very questionable. I don't know. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to look at all these tickers, unfortunately. I might just pick and choose some. Yeah, I'm just picking and choosing here. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to miss some tonight, but I'll be live again tomorrow night. We already talked about STC earlier. What is this playlist? I think, so I use this like public playlist, and I think they like edited it over the weekend, and it's just like different. I've never heard these songs before. Oh, might be breaking it. We'll see. We'll just see where it ends up. All right. Pinterest, first off. I don't know, kind of a little bit scuffed to be an alternate bat still, but next day BCD almost at the 113, but not there yet. It's just kind of bottoming off of like 52-ish for right now. I really want to see it. I mean, it's testing this area right now, which was your high, your low, your low, your low. I'm going to extend this down a little bit. I just want to see it hold above this zone. I think if it breaks this zone, then there could be a gap fill at 46 for Pinterest. If it can bounce above it, then there's a gap fill to the upside at 70. So it's just a question of like which way it moves off of this zone, you know, and I don't know the answer yet. FTX. This could be on the way to an 886. That would actually be around the support at like 243-ish. Potential classic bullish divergence on the daily, but the MACD needs to start waning. It's FTX, Tesla. I mean, I was talking about Wyckoff accumulation on this like two and a half months ago. Like, I think I started talking about it like actually over here. So like July, yeah. And it's so far doing pretty cool things. We'll see what happens, but really good volume on Friday in the afternoon. It just needs to get above 780. If it can get above 780, I think Tesla could retest all-time highs, because it's been in this range between 550 and 780 since February. So we'll see, but maybe we could even draw like an upsloping channel here, something like that. I mean, the upper line's a little bit tough to pick the best area. Maybe like this. I don't know, but you get the point. That is my Tesla chart. Delta broke out of a descending broadening wedge after triple bottoming, but it's just kind of going sideways. I don't know. I think your support's 37.50 and your resistance is 43. You're kind of in between them. Earnings are coming up on the 14th of October according to TradingView. We'll see. I can see going either way. And then Ethereum, final ticker of the night. 2,882 is your support, and your previous all-time high at 43.75 is your resistance. You're kind of in between them. MACD is right at 50-ish. I mean, RSI is right at 50-ish. MACD is red without divergence, but also potential divergence if it starts waning. I think it depends on Bitcoin. I can see going either way. I just don't see a super clear signal right now. All right, futures going even lower right now, so we'll see what it looks like in the morning. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed the stream. Tried my best. A little bit of a weird start, but a lot of people did show up a little bit later, so I really appreciate everybody showing up to the stream and supporting. Sorry I couldn't get to all the takers, but I'll be live again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. EST, so yeah. Can you show us how I set up the auto feature for charting support and resistance? I don't know how to do that. I think there's like literally an indicator for support and resistance, but I would not trust that. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of support and resistance indicators, but learning it the right way is always the best way. Trying to have, you know, shortcuts is not going to help you out. So, you know, look at Bulkowski's books. Look at the video in my course about support and resistance. Watch how I chart support and resistances on the streams. Like, it's don't try and rush your education on technicals. And I'm not trying to single you out, DF. I know you're just asking a question, but I'm just saying, like, for anybody in the stream, always just try and, you know, learn how to do things the right way. Sometimes it takes longer, but good things take time. All right, I'm gonna leave off with that. All right, everybody have a great night. Good luck trading tomorrow. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you want to join in on premium, tonight's the 6-month anniversary. The link's in the description. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, peace out. Have a good one. Scrooge, Rithwick, Chef Daddy Trader, KLF, Medi. Peace out.